Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sports Night. I'm Joe Young.
And I'm Howie Shapiro. And Joe, we have a very special show, and I'm very excited for tonight.
We do have a special show, but it's the end. It's the end of the winter season. But the snow is gone. 70s have shown up once. Yep. We're going to get some more coming up the end of this week. It is spring sports season.
I'm excited for spring sports as well, and obviously it's this has been a long winter season, and I'm excited for the nice weather and to get out and watch some ball, and it should be fun.
It's actually been a really short winter season when it comes to high school sports.
No, but long is
I understand what you're saying, but when it comes to winter sports, obviously very condensed, didn't start until after the first of the year. But here we are into April, and we're still wrapping up things for the winter season.
Yeah, it's crazy because obviously winter sports should be over by now. And
typically.
Yeah.
But instead, it's state tournament time in Minnesota, and one tournament where Coon Rapids is always well represented is the state wrestling tournament. Since 1965, there have only been 2 years when the Cardinals didn't have at least one athlete qualify for state. This year, they sent 5 guys to the tournament. 152-pounder super section champion Demetrius Seals had a rough draw, losing to the eventual runner-up in the first round and the eventual 5th-place finisher in round number 2. Our request to get a camera to the tournament was denied, but we're fortunate to have some highlights from our friends at CCX. Dalen Jones lost the first round at 145, but he wins out from there. Big takedown here on Josh Rout of Hastings in the 5th-place match. Gets some near-fall points on his way to a 10-6 decision. Senior Ellie Medimba lost to the eventual champion in the first round at 160, but it's the only one he'd lose. Battling Gage Mueller of Laconia in the 5th-place match, Medimba dominates, taking 5th place with a 17-3 major decision. Another senior finishing his career with a win is 170-pounder Alex Kowalczyk. He too lost in the first round, but battled back to finish 5th at state. He controlled the match against Adam Aldemira of Wayzata on his way to a 6-0 victory. Gavin Layton's only loss last year was in the state championship. This time, he finishes the perfect season by beating Anoka's Tyler Nebelung for the third time this year. Layton had pins in the first 2 rounds, beats Nebelung with a 7-0 decision, a perfect 35-0 this season. He won 85 of his 86 matches over the last 2 years of his Cardinal wrestling career. And, a little less hoopla, no fans in the stands, not even his teammates there to watch, but the coaches are there to give him hugs and celebrate with him, and just such a great moment for that young man.
It really was, and you look at his numbers for the last 2 years. You called it amazing, but it's incredible. I mean, just the fact that in a match that he felt, I'm sure he should have won last year to win the championship, did not, and I know his motivation was dominated in saying, I'm coming back and I'm going to win this title that I should have won a year ago.
Well, and we are going to chat with Gavin about his accomplishment a little bit later in the show. But yeah, absolutely outstanding. And all of the Cardinals that finished at state, 5 guys made it to state. All 5 of them were second time at state. That's amazing as well. The program just continues to reload and send guys. All 5 of them, though, are seniors, so they will be looking for some guys to really step up next year.
We talked about it before the show, how amazing this wrestling program has been throughout the years, and they reload year after year after year, and you give credit to all the coaches in this program because they develop the young wrestlers at an early age.
Absolutely, almost a quarter of a century that we've been following Cardinal sports, and they have been truly the one consistently quality program throughout that 24 years that we've been up here. Baseball has been very consistent as well, but not quite to the level of the Cardinals wrestling program. And you're right, a lot of that goes to the coaching staff. A lot of it goes to their boosters and the support they get from very young age. It's very impressive, and I'm always looking forward to see what they have to show us every winter.
No question. Well, the boys basketball team was gunning for its first trip to state since 1983 when the Cardinals traveled to Duluth East last Thursday. After earning upsets over 4th seed Blaine and top seed Andover, they were taking aim at the 2nd seeded Greyhounds from Duluth East. The Greyhounds were 15-3 and riding a 6-game win streak, so the Cardinals would have their work cut out for them. Duluth East, a good perimeter shooting team, but when this shot doesn't fall, they don't worry because they've got Maddie Thompson down low to clean up the rebound. Third chance is good, and the Greyhounds lead 5-1. But that outside shooting does heat up. Giovanni Salvador knocks down the open look from the corner. Duluth East growing their lead just at the start of a big night for him. Cardinals sticking to the process to keep the game within reach. They feed Elijah Smith down low. He works his way to the basket, you saw there, and the Cardinals try to kickstart their offense. Cardinals attacking again. Monty Henry kicks it out to Matthew Ellingson. He hits the three, and they cut the deficit to 6. Well, the Greyhounds are going to stretch the lead again, and it's Jordan Doe driving to left side of the lane and scoring off the glass. Nice move to the basket there. But they just can't contain Duluth East at the other end. We move to the final seconds of the first half. Salvador left alone in the perimeter again. He hits another 3. The Greyhounds have a 36-19 lead going into the locker room. Cardinals hoping to regroup in the second, but the Greyhounds charge out of the break again. Joe Voss driving to the basket and pushing the Duluth East lead to 44-22. We're still early in the second. Elijah Smith driving, and it's blocked away out of bounds. But he's got blood on his elbow, so he heads off some of the blood on the back of Matthew Ellingson. So he's forced to switch to a different jersey, wearing 13 for the rest of the way. You can see the blood there. Cardinals back on the attack, as there you can see Matthew's new jersey. They're going to find Ellingson at the top of the key. He hits another 3 for Coon Rapids with a big hole trying to dig out of. When they're able to get their offense rolling a little better later in the game, are Monty Henry and a lot of traffic down low, but able to find his way to the basket. Henry held to just 8 points in the game. Ellingson with a nice pass over the top to Alex Beck. The Lizard scores in close, but still a 54-38 lead for the Greyhounds. MJ Galama is the Cardinals' leader on offense, but he comes up with some big defense as well. A couple of times getting himself into great position, drawing offensive fouls against the Greyhound. MJ was frustrated by foul trouble in the Andover game, causing the frustration this time around. Cardinals need any momentum they can grab, and the fans are feeling it. Galama on the run, then steps back, knocks down a 3. He had 20 points, and that got the Cards back within single digits, but they can't get the shots to fall at the end. The Greyhounds are able to hit some free throws down the stretch to secure the victory. The Cardinals had an inspired second half, but the hole is just too big to dig out of, and their season comes to an end with a 74-60 loss. Duluth East advancing to state as champions of Section 4A. 7-4A, sorry about that.
Yeah, it was a tough one, and we talked about it all year long, and we've talked about it with other Cardinal teams. Obviously how you finish is most important, but you've got to be able to start well. Yep. And I know we were texting back and forth a little bit on Thursday during the game, yep. And they had a really slow first half. I thought and I was watching it while doing some other things, but it seemed to me they were rushing some things, almost like they had some nerves that I didn't think they really showed in either of the first 2 section games. It seemed to have some nerves and taking those early shots rather than waiting for the better shot, and that led to that big lead. And of course, then Duluth East, credit to the Greyhounds, they came out running at the start of the second half and really built that lead up huge.
Yeah, and I think they had a presence inside that maybe the Cardinals didn't have in that game, and I think that really helped them as well. But Coon Rapids came into the game, and in my estimation, the more athletic team, and the fact that the team that could run, that could transition. But I think you're right. I think maybe a little nerves at the beginning of the game, and they got in that hole, and unfortunately they just couldn't dig out. But credit to them. I love this squad, and I love watching absolutely. Them. They had a fun season, and the fact that they were able to get a game away from the state tournament is amazing, and that's testament to the guys and to that coaching staff.
Yeah, and they really did it with that starting 5 all season long. Yep. They didn't go very deep on the bench. They had maybe 2 guys, 3 tops that came off the bench on a typical night, and those 3 guys, while quality minutes were played, were not huge factors on the scoreboard. All 5 starters were averaging double digits, which is a rarity. You don't see that very often, but they played really well together. The good news is they only lose two guys. Correct. The bad news is it's their 2 point guards. Yep. Technically, I guess our Monty Henry led the point more often, but Jordan was just as capable of leading the point if Monty was on the bench. And those are two pretty special leaders.
Yes.
Great young men. We talk about Jordan Doe as a leader in several sports, just an outstanding Cardinal athlete. He's had a great career. And our Monty Henry, we talked about it. He had the broken foot last year, missed a huge chunk of his junior year. And then this year he had the rolled ankle early in the year, and it was like, oh, no. But fortunately, he only missed like 1 or 2 games. So he was able to compete the whole season. But it was a special group.
It was.
It'll be interesting to see what they're able to do next year. To Coach O and his staff's credit, they really have had some consistent success in the 6 years since he took over the program.
Yeah, it's just and it's amazing the fact that you look at the section games. You go back to the Blaine game where they didn't have their MJ Galma, their leading scorer, and they came back and they made sure that they got that win. And then MJ got in a little bit of foul trouble against Andover, but they were still able to pull that game out. And then they ran into Duluth East, and I think it was just you play that game 10 times, and I think it's pretty even back and forth either way.
I think I agree, but great season for them and a great winter season. We've enjoyed, of course, covering all of the action for Cardinal sports, but we do have a couple of exciting things left in the show. We're going to talk to Gavin Layton, new state wrestling champion, right after this break, and a little later in the show, the 2021 Athena Award winner for Coon Rapids, Megan Schultz. Don't go away. Welcome back to Sports Night. As we talked about earlier, the Cardinals Wrestling program has a tradition of excellence, and they added another state champion this season. Cardinals have been sending guys to state consistently since 1965, but their success over the last 20 years is beyond impressive. Since 2001, 74 Coon Rapids wrestlers have competed at the state tournament. They had 10 guys finish in third place, and 11 times had guys that finished as runners-up. Gavin Layton is the 10th state champion in history, the 7th since 2005. 6 of those 7, including Layton, were also runner-up in another year. So we're happy to have Gavin in the studio with us. And Gavin, first of all, thanks for being with us, and congratulations on getting that state championship.
Thank you, thank you.
First of all, obviously last year you went undefeated until the championship match. What kind of motivation was that for you to come back and get the job done this year?
It wasn't really motivation, more as just to realize that not everything's a given and that you have to work for everything.
The obvious differences in this year versus last year, the pandemic and the fact that you were fortunate to win the state tournament. Where you're fortunate in the fact that you lost that one where you felt you shouldn't have last year, and then you came back and you won it this year. Certainly, congratulations. Besides those two differences, talk about last year versus this year and how it's been different for you in your run to the state championship.
This year, I felt like I was a lot more dominant throughout the season. I didn't really have that many close matches as I did last year. And I just kept my eyes on the prize and kept moving.
Obviously, the state tournament, the whole the way they did it with the super section was very different this year. And then when you get to the state tournament, it's only an 8-man tournament. But the big difference, obviously, no fans in the stands like there were last year. Did that change kind of how exciting it was, or no?
Yeah, for sure. Like even when we first got to the tournament, I was like, this doesn't even feel like a state tournament. It feels like another weekend tournament. But it was still the same atmosphere as far as like the wrestlers in the back of the room. But it was really weird. We didn't even get to watch other matches.
And obviously, you've done a lot of wrestling outside of the high school program. How important is that to your success as far as what you're able to do in the off season?
Oh, it's that is the only reason I'm successful is because I wrestled so much. It's like getting a whole nother year of wrestling from outside of the high school season. It was just, I wouldn't have been a state champ without it.
This was a very different year, quite obviously, with the pandemic. Talk a little bit about, what the wrestling team, what you guys had to do and the precautions you had to take match after match and things that you needed to do to make sure everybody stayed safe.
We just needed everyone to keep their masks on, to be smart outside of the wrestling room, not go and hang out with their friends all the time and stuff, and think about, if I get it, then we really get shut down like we did.
Yeah, and throughout the year, obviously, you got, I think it was 4th practice in when you had that, had to hit pause. Throughout the season, how concerned were you that you may not be able to get the season finished and get that state tournament in?
Oh, I was really concerned. I just made sure everyone was safe and smart, and there were some hiccups in the way, but we got through it.
Now, obviously, a 2-sport athlete. You're also captain for both the football and the wrestling team. What comes next for you?
I'm going to Augsburg next year. I'm going to wrestle and play football there. I might actually throw track this summer or this spring. I'm not sure about that one yet.
Talk a little bit about, now that your high school career is close to being over and you're going to move to the next level. Talk about some of the things that you look back on and some of the things that you'll miss, once your high school career is over.
Well, the things I'll miss are just the people I've met and the family community at Coon Rapids. I've never really felt that before, and that's what I'll miss the most. And I'll just look back on all the good memories that we had.
Obviously, you had some great success, part of that football team that made the run to the U.S. Bank, a state runner-up as a junior in wrestling, a state champion as a senior. Now, as you mentioned, you're taking both sports to the next level at Augsburg. Talk about what a challenge it's going to be to try and compete at the next level in 2 sports.
It's going to be challenging, just a lot of dedication and hard work to keep it going. Just play, I don't know.
Obviously you've got great coaches here, both on the football program and in the wrestling program. Talk about a little bit about how the coaches are helping you in your advance to that next level.
Oh, they've just tremendous support, always asking me what I'm doing and talking about situations and where I want to be and what I want to have in college and the type of community I want to be around.
Well, we are certainly happy to have had you here on the show today. Congratulations again on the state championship. We wish you all the success in the world at the next level, and we'll definitely be watching. Please keep us posted with all of the success that I'm sure you'll have.
Thank you.
All right, we'll take another break, and we will be back with another special Cardinal athlete right after this.
After quarantine, everyone's bound to look a little different. Some people gained a little weight, others lost some. Some had longer hair or a new beard. With Joe and Howie, it was a little different. Don't get me wrong, they acted like the same old Joe and Howie. What they came back with, a different energy. But something was off.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sports Night. I'm Joe Young.
And I'm Howie Shapiro, and it really was.
Welcome back to Sports Night. Here at CTN, we really try to champion all the great achievements of Coon Rapids athletes, and we're happy to have another very special athlete with us today. Just over a week ago, Megan Schultz was announced as this year's Athena Award winner from Coon Rapids. And it would be hard to find someone more deserving. During her career, Megan qualified for state 5 straight years. She also set the school record in every swimming event, as well as several conference, section, and pool records. She's the first Coon Rapids swimmer to ever be named an All-American, and recently she was also announced as a finalist for the National Merit Scholarship. And again, we're happy to have Megan Schultz with us. Megan, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
First of all, talk about what it means to you to be a National Merit finalist.
That was really something, honestly, it was unexpected. I just kind of went in and took the test, and it turns out it went well. And it's exciting to be up there. I think it means a lot. And I feel like I've put a lot of hard work into my school over my entire time I've been in school, and it's nice to see that hard work paid off.
Well, and I will say, we are always very impressed by all of the athletic achievements of Coon Rapids athletes, but what happens in the classroom and their outstanding academic achievements really is even more impressive. So congratulations on that.
Yeah, thank you.
Also, welcome certainly to the show, and thank you so much for joining us. And talk a little bit about, you won the Athena Award this year, and it's a great accomplishment, how much that means to you, and when you found out, what your thoughts were at that moment.
Yeah, it was really exciting to get it. It means a lot that the school chose me to have this award, and I've put a lot of time into swimming. I've been swimming for over 10 years, and it's been a lot of fun doing that. And it was really super exciting to get the award, and it's an honor to have it.
Well, certainly it shows that you put in a lot of work to your swimming. 6 years on the varsity team, 5 years straight at state tournament, and every single record on that board. What does it mean to you to look at that board at the Northdale Middle School pool and see your name up there so many times? It
was really exciting. When I first walked on the team as a 7th grader, I kind of looked up at the record board and thought, it'd be fun to have my name up there. I was going to try to see how many records I could break. At the time, I did not think I would end up getting all of them. I was just hoping to get a few, and then as the years kept going by, I kept looking up there like, oh, maybe we could get this one this time. So I kept working for it, kept, determining how we were going to get it, when we were going to do it, and it's exciting to break the records every time. It's super exciting, and I'm really grateful that I was able to do it, and I'm really honored that my name is up there.
Well, obviously, your next step is you're going to Rice University to swim and obviously study. Talk about what you look back at the 6 years that you've been on this team. You've swam for varsity. What are some of the things that you're going to miss the most?
I'm going to miss all my teammates who supported me throughout the years. I've made a lot of great friends through swimming, and it's going to be hard to say goodbye to them, and I'll miss them. And also moving away from my coaches that have worked with me for so long. I've worked with Doug for 6 years now on the team. I'm going to miss having him as a coach and also my club coaches. But I'm really excited to go down to Rice and looking forward to it.
What obviously with the career you've had in high school, you had some choices to make as far as where you went next. What was it about Rice that made you think that's where you want to take your career next?
I was really looking for a school that had really good academics and an athletic swimming team that I would fit on well with, and Rice just seemed perfect for me. I think it was really my first choice since the beginning of recruiting, and I really enjoyed the coaches. The girls on the team seem great, and I think it has the programs I want. I'm looking forward to doing research in college and meeting new students to collaborate with, and the swim team was just a good fit for me.
You and I were talking just before the show. We talked about the success of the boys program, and you were talking about a little bit how vicariously you were living through that program. Talk a little bit about their success and how much that meant to you as a Coon Rapids swimmer.
It means a lot, especially because I've been swimming with quite a handful of those boys since we were 10 years old, and we would go to our club training practices together, and outside of high school season, we'll be training together at 9 practices a week. And it just meant a lot to see their success and see them do so well. And I hope the boys team continues to have that success.
Well, and obviously your brother is a part of that team, and he's been having some good success there. Do you point out to him that your name's on the board 11 times?
Yeah, I guess sometimes a little bit, but yeah, some of those boys' records are really fast, and he has his name up there in the 100 breaststroke. And it's exciting to both of us have records, and I'm happy for him.
Well, we are very happy for you. Thank you so much for coming on today. Good luck at Rice at the next level. And definitely please keep us posted on all the accomplishments, which we are sure you will achieve at the next level.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
You're very welcome. And thank you all for joining us again for another edition of Sports Night. But that's going to wrap up this edition as well as the winter season here on Sports Night. We want to thank everybody out there for joining us and continuing to support everything we do here at CTN. For the entire crew, including Howie Shapiro, I'm Joe Young, saying good night.